Welcome back to the John Trading channel. I'm John, and in today's video, I'm going to give you my price prediction for AAVE coin in 2023. Currently, AAVE is at this $72 level. Can it reach back to the old all-time high, roughly 1000% away? I truly believe there's a lot of potential in AAVE, so make sure you're watching until the end of the video as I'll give you my full in-detail explanation. The first thing I like to do is scroll out on the coin so I can see the entire price chart on my screen, and I'm actually using the weekly time frame. So this last bull run for AAVE, it was down at this 31-cent level and we pushed up to roughly $700. We pushed up over 220,000% in just 2 years in this last bull run. Now, this was the all-time high of the price, roughly at this $707 level. So from that level, we have pushed down roughly to our current price of over 89%. So we've definitely had a really strong decline in AAVE. But if we do believe that AAVE has a really strong future, then really the time to be buying is when the prices are down 80%, because it gives us that massive bullish potential to the upside. The next thing I like to do is actually look at this orange exponential moving average and look at how it's actually sloping in the market. The orange exponential moving average is actually the 20 EMA, and I like to call it the medium term average price in the chart. When we have a really strong decline and actually downsloping exponential moving average, I only want to be looking for shorts to the downside. I want to be shorting when price comes back to the average price. I want to be shorting again in these areas. Also want to be shorting in these areas when we get price actually traveling between the medium and short-term EMA is what I like to call the value zone. And if we have a declining 20 EMA, the value zone would be in this area here and looking for shorts to the downside. As you can see, nearly every single time we've come into this area, we've used it as shorts. We had a slight push up in this area, but we're still made a strong push to the downside. More recently in price, the EMA has started to move slightly up, slightly down, and again potentially slightly up again. What that actually creates is a form of a trading range, and it actually means price has been going sideways, and it truly has. If you look at price between these levels, if we compare it back to roughly June of 2022, AAVE has really gone nowhere. We've been slightly up, slightly down, slightly up, slightly down. We're basically in a form of a trading range, so you really need to understand where prices are right now and how they're going to move into the future. What actually happens is when we have this trading range is it's usually around a 50-50% chance of breaking to the upside or to the downside. But because we've already gone down 90%, and if we count the actual complete from top to bottom, we went down roughly 94% from top to bottom. There's not really much room to go any lower unless we're literally going to zero on AAVE, and I really don't believe that that is going to happen. So if that is the case, it then gives us a bit of a higher probability of this trading range actually signaling that potential push to the upside. But it does also not mean that we could not bounce between this trading range for a little bit further, because if we look to the left and we see what's been happening in price, we can only expect that what's been happening in the recent past is going to continue happening in the recent future. So that's the main thing that I'm looking at. Since we still sort of have this declining exponential moving average, it's slightly bottoming out in this level. The true readiness to actually buy and getting that signal saying, yes, we need to enter the market has not happened yet. We're still in this trading range level. The idea level that I really want to see would actually be a break above this level, because what would actually happen is even we could move this just slightly higher. In this area, we're having a lot of resistance. There's resistance in this area, resistance again, and resistance again. Now, resistance isn't an exact price on the chart. We can't say it exactly $98.18. That's where this resistance is. But you can see the overall between this box here that actually encapsulates just a small percentage of price, probably around 10%. In that area, it has been a really strong resistance in the past. So really what I would be looking for in the future is to actually get this break above this resistance level, this green line acting as that resistance level, get a strong break above, potentially coming back in this area here, which we might see a bit of a sell-off because there has been a lot of support, also resistance flips in these areas through here. So what I would expect is a strong push above, then we come back, actually retest this area, give enough time for this 20 exponential moving average to actually catch up and also be pointing to the upside, because in my trading strategy, I can never trade against the trend of the medium term exponential moving average, especially on the weekly chart. If the 20 EMA is pointing to the downside, I am banned from buying in the market. But if the 20 EMA is pointing to the upside, I can then only long in the market. I cannot short. I'm banned from shorting. So the true idea here would be we need to see this break above this 20 EMA, also breaking above this support to resistance flip. It would then make sense to come back into this level, allow price to actually catch up. We would then have a perfect confluence level because we'd get that support to resistance flip in this area. We'd also have the 20 EMA pointing to the upside. We'd also be coming back into the value zone. As you would know, through here, we have a value zone to the short side. What we then would expect is a value zone to the upside where we have value in between this area. So we'd have 3 confluence levels actually telling us, yes, we can actually get long in the market. So the first thing that I'd want to see on AAVE is finally getting this 20 EMA to push to the upside and get a break above this resistance level would be the first level that I'm really interested in. Once now, let's actually go over and use the Fibonacci retracement tool. And it actually perfectly nearly lines up with this support to resistance flip. Using the Fibonacci retracement tool, we've got the 0.382, 0.5, and 618 level. They basically act as percentage redraws levels, because if price was to come up to this level, then we've basically retraced 38.2% of this entire move here. As much as this price is really close to 100%, that's basically how price works, because you get that large percentage move to the upside once you get this last push if you've bought down here in this area. So this main 38.2 level is actually extremely support to resistance flip in this market. All through this level, you can see on the left, let's actually scroll in a little bit bigger so you can see just a bit easier. All through this level, there was resistance, support in this area. We then broke down this below this support level. Then what happened? Came back, used it as a resistance. We then broke above it, used it as a bit of a support level to push to the upside, then broke down again, and now we've been using it as resistance multiple times. So there's definitely a lot of support in this area. All through this area right here, you can see how that actually encapsulates. There are a few wicks to the downside, but you can see how they're quickly reversed to the upside. So basically in this box, definitely acts as a really strong support level initially, but once we got those really strong breakdowns, they're acting as resistance. It's now acting as resistance, and it also lines up with this 38.2 level. So not only have we got multiple confluence zones in the market telling us that we've got a support to resistance flip type trade in this area, we've also got the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement tool telling us that this price could be acting as a high level of resistance. And it does make sense because there's multiple strategies actually telling us right now that this would act as a resistance level. So this would actually be, if we delete that off my chart, putting it right in that area, right through this area here would actually be my first target for AAVE in 2023, after we did do this move that I just explained in this area pushing to the upside. But if we believe that AAVE is going to make even higher pushes and break well above this old all-time high, let's actually use this trend-based Fibonacci extension. You start at this old all-time low at this 30-cent level, you drag it up to the high at this $710 level, and then you drag it down to this current low at around this $45 level. And now we've got price actually populating on our chart. You can see how we've got multiple price levels. We've got the 23.6, which actually does line up with a bit of a support to resistance flip in this area. You can actually see even the right, if you just count the bottom of these wicks, there's a lot of support in this area, trying to use it as resistance and then break down, also perfectly lining up with this 38.2. So it's very good in the market. But the next thing and the main thing that we're actually looking at is this testing of this 1618 level. Once we get a strong break above the old all-time high, then this would definitely be a level level that there could be acting at least a small amount of resistance. This is roughly that $1,200 to $1,300 range. If we actually look from our current price all the way to the top, that's 1,600, close to 1,700% to the upside. So there's still a massive potential in AAVE in 2023. But I do believe that if we were going to push up to this 2,000, basically 2,000% move to the upside, I think it might take a little bit longer than 2023. As you can see, if I was to do a vertical line right here, this would basically be the end of 2023, and we'd be starting 2024. So we really don't have much time in this area. We would literally need to skyrocket to the upside 2,000% to be able to make that move. So it might make more sense that we come closer to this level in here right at the end of 2023, maybe have a small retracement to the downside because this area will act as a bit of a resistance level before then looking to at least push above this old all-time high. And if we are going to make above that level, then I do believe that this level, the 1618 on the trend-based Fibonacci extension tool, would be a really good level to actually look at AAVE in the market. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and leave a comment if you'd like me to go over one particular crypto. Also, click on the screen right now if you'd like to continue your trading journey with another one of my videos.